All right, so many of you have been asking me about the post that I put up in regards to this optimized or upgraded cold plunge experience. So I'm gonna go through in detail what it's all about. One of the benefits of having the Hydrogun Super Tub is that you can change the temperature. So you can have it to be a cold plunge or you can create a hot tub experience. And when it comes to using molecular hydrogen within the tub, I like to set this at 60 degrees. So that's why you can hear this. It's operating right now. It's heating up because typically I have this in the 40-degree range. That's Fahrenheit. That's cold, okay? It's warming up. It's going to get to 60 degrees because I've found that when I use molecular hydrogen with this bath experience, it's just cold enough to allow for more hydrogen to stay within the bubbles, but then it's also at a temperature in which I can stay in for 10, 15, even 20 minutes without going crazy. So this is a Q Spa bath generator. This creates molecular hydrogen within the body of water. And I have two of them. And the reason why I have two of them is because this is such a big vat of water that I want to make sure I get as much of the molecular hydrogen infused into the water as possible. I would typically put this in the water, turn it on, let it perfuse the water for about 20 minutes. Then I get in the water, turn it back on so that it's still continuing to create molecular hydrogen. So this is what that looks like. Those are nano hydrogen bubbles that are being created. At one point I did a little experiment in which I held a lighter to those bubbles and you could hear it popping, pop, 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 pop. I don't recommend doing that though. So that's what's creating this molecular hydrogen transdermal effect. So the hydrogen is really absorbed through the skin very well. So I put it in here. Now, some people use bath tablets. Bath tablets are okay. However, in a system like this super tub that has all these fancy filters and things like that, I don't want the residue to gunk up the filters and to make that work less optimized. So I prefer to use this when I'm using my super tub. And then I maximize that whole process by using the H2 Respire. So the H2 Respire is a device that allows for maximized molecular hydrogen to be produced so that you can either inhale it or you can create drinking water out of it. It has different attachments that you can do that. So what I'm going to do is just turn this on. It's got water inside, distilled water, and this electrolyte solution. Hit the start button. I have it set for 30 minutes. It's showing me that the water quality is good inside. It's showing me that everything is working. And so what I'll do is go ahead and turn that on, and you'll see these little bubbles start to form. And that just means that it's starting to work. Now that this is on and working, I put this into my nose, and now I look like I'm in a hospital. Let's assume that this has been going for 20 minutes, which would mean that that water is going to be full of molecular hydrogen. Then before I get in, I would turn it on again and then go ahead and get myself in there. So we'll pretend like we did that. I have the temperature set at around 60 degrees because that's a good happy medium. For some people, especially women, we found that a cool plunge is more of an ideal scenario. And so would be a good start for a cool plunge experience. But if you can't stay in this water for longer than 5 minutes doing this method, then I would say choose a temperature that allows you to stay in it for 10, 15, even 20 minutes, okay? So I'm gonna get in, show you what that looks like. Also, you have to be very mindful that you don't yank this thing off because this is a very expensive product that I don't want to do that with. So I'll set this to where it'd be right beneath my knees. That's kind of where I have the most space in there. And even at 60 degrees, this is cold, y'all. All right, so I get in. Da, da, da. Easy peasy. Make sure everything's out the way. And I would hang out like this. So a lot of times I have a podcast playing or listening to music or meditating. I think for some people, they probably don't think they could do that. I don't think they could relax for that long. But when you do it enough and you have a setup like this at home, then it's quite adaptable. The body's really good at adapting. That's what this looks like. I do this on at least 3 times a week. I don't tend to do it every day. And I do also switch between the hydrogen version, which is what I'm doing now, versus the actual cold plunge. And that I'm in there for about 3 minutes, maximum 5 minutes, at around, I don't know, 38 degrees to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a cold plunge. If you want to know some of the benefits of molecular hydrogen, I talked about this on the podcast with H2 Hub, Mr. Taiwan Hubbard. And that was a really in-depth conversation. We talked for about 2 hours about all things molecular hydrogen. The benefits, includes everything from inflammation, anti-inflammation, or reducing inflammation in the body. It helps to optimize the oxygen uptake in the body. And really, to be honest with you, it helps to increase recovery. So I love utilizing this practice, especially after all the workouts I do, the long runs, different things like that. Like, this is a really good tool for recovering from that. So there you go. Molecular hydrogen. And now I'm going to get out.